Hello lovelies, I'm Christina and today I'm giving you my fall TBR. Now, as I mentioned in my September wrap-up, we're about 3 weeks from our due date, so I have no idea how October is going to pan out. So I'm not going to make a specific October TBR just because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how much I'll be able to read, if anything, but I have a few books that I would love to get through during the fall season. So let's get into them. So first off, I want to mention the 2 books that I'm currently in the middle of. The first one is an audiobook, and that is Disloyal, The True Story of the Former Personal Attorney to President Donald J. Trump by Michael Cohen. Don't think that needs much more explanation. I'm about... how far? I'm about almost 6 hours into it, so there's about 6 hours left. It's really interesting so far. I wouldn't say that I'm enjoying it because it's kind of cringeworthy to know how much this man was willing to do for Trump and how horrible of a person Trump is. Not that we didn't know that beforehand, but still, just hearing him talking about it, all the things they've done and they said, it's just disgusting, but it's still very interesting, and I'll let you know my full thoughts when I'm done with it. The next one that I've currently started reading is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Bernhill. This is a fantasy, I think it's middle grade story. So there's this town where every year the people of the protectorate, they leave a baby as a sacrifice to the witch in the woods. But the witch San in this woods is actually a good witch, so she will then rescue the sacrificed babies and then give them to a good family on the other side of the forest. But then she finds this one baby girl and she accidentally feeds her moonlight instead of starlight, and then she has to take her as her own. She calls her Luna, and by the time she turns around 13, her magic starts to appear with all of its consequences. I'm only 19 pages in so far, but it's been really enjoyable so far. I really enjoy the writing style, and from what I've heard of other reviews of this book, I think I'm gonna love it. Next up we have I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Iain Reid. I don't know much about this story. I saw the movie trailer on Netflix, and I know it's about this couple that goes to visit his parents and there's just weird things going on. I know this is a book that's supposed to like mess with your mind. It's a horror novel. It just sounds up my alley and I really need to read this before I can watch the movie. I'm surprised at how short it is. Not that that's a bad thing. I need some short books in my life at this time because I just can't concentrate for longer periods of time anymore, and I'm pretty sure as soon as this girl is out, it's not going to get any better for a little while, so I'm here for some short books as well. I'm excited for this one. I'm hoping that this one is as good as I think it is. Next up, we have My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This is the same author that wrote Horror Store, which I haven't read yet, but I really want to get to that one as well. It's the one which has a layout of an IKEA catalog, which is also a horror story as well as this one is, and it sounds amazing, but this one does too. And can we just talk about this cover? The design team that went for this and made it look like an old VHS movie, hats off to you. It's just perfection. I love it so much. It was the cover that grabbed me, I have to say. It was the cover that just caught my attention as soon as I saw it popping up on Instagram or on YouTube. I don't remember where I saw it first, but it grabbed me, made me curious. Now I have it and now I want to read it. So from what I know, this is a story about 2 young girls. They're high school sophomores, Abby and Gretchen. They have been best friends since 4th grade. They go on this skinny dipping adventure and it goes wrong, and after that Gretchen begins to act weird. She's moody, she's different, there's weird things happening around her, and their friendship is put to the test. and to see if it's actually powerful enough to beat the devil. So it sounds really weird and just horror-tastic is what it sounds like, and I'm super excited about this. Can't wait to dive into it. Now next up is a romance novel, and it's one that I've seen mentioned several times on several channels, but especially on Noel Gallagher's channel, and that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. From what I know about this story, it's about Lucy, who comes from a small publishing house, and Joshua, who comes from a corporate bigger publishing house, and they have merged, and now these two who absolutely hate each other have to share an office. And I'm guessing it's sort of a hate to love story. I've heard mixed things. Some really love it, some don't like it at all, so I'm curious to see what I'm gonna think of it. Next up is another horror novel, and that is Lovecraft Country by Matt Ruff. It is set in Chicago in 1954. It's about Atticus, who sets off on this journey with his uncle and his friend Letitia, and they are going to try to find his father, who is missing. It says they encounter both the mundane terrors of white America and a more insidious threat ripped straight from the pages of the weird tales George devours. I don't really want to know much more about it than that. I want to go into it a little blindly. I have read a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, so I'm curious to see how that merges into this story, and I saw the HBO trailer for it, which looks just amazing. It looks so good. So this is another one that I really have to get to so that I can watch that series. Next up we have a fantasy magical realism kind of story, and that is The Binding by Bridget Collins. This is a story about Emmett Farmer, who starts working as an apprentice for a bookbinder, but it's not just any kind of bookbinder. The place that he works, he can take memories and bind them into books. So if there's a memory that anyone wants to forget, a secret that they don't want to have in their mind anymore, he can then bind them into books and they have forgotten them forever. And then one day he finds a book with his own name on it. It sounds very magical. It sounds like something I'm really going to enjoy, and can we just appreciate this cover? It has all the fall vibes. It has the purple sprayed edges, and it even looks gorgeous without the dust jacket. I mean, shout out to the design team here. Well done. Perfection. So there you have it. Those are the books that I want to get through during the fall season this year. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, if you have any thoughts or recommendations. I will also link to all of these books in the thingamajiggy down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video soon. Bye!